All right, so the next thing I'm going to do is, obviously that handle isn't supposed to do that. So a replacement handle is all of like $7-8 on eBay. And I really don't like these grips. They're kind of weird grips. So that's what somebody interacts with. So I'm going to swap those out for some much more comfortable grips. These are kind of weird. Today's a hand grip time. I will say these were a lot easier to get off. They just pulled right off. So they didn't feel really loose when you were holding them, but both of them just pulled right off. It's got a funky little hard plastic end and then a pretty stiff rubber, and they got gunk in them. And so clean these up a little bit, and usually to get these off, use some Windex or some glass cleaner or whatever and spray it in there, and that'll usually loosen it up and clean it up. And then with the new grips, I'll get this prepped and then I'll put those on. All right, so these are the grips I like. They got the chrome ends and they're like a foam rubbery kind of thing. I have them on my other bike. I really like them because they're a little bit fatter. You got big hands, and they're certainly way more comfortable to hold on to. Even if you don't have gloves on, I always ride with gloves, but they're still more comfortable and they absorb a lot of vibration. So I really like these. Now, one thing, this bike has a 7/8 inch handlebar. So when you get one, they're going to be two different sizes. So you've got this one on the far side is 7/8, and then the one on the left is 1 inch. And the one that's 1 inch goes on to the throttle, and the 7/8 goes on to just the handlebar. So you always have to kind of look at that and make sure you got the right one, and that you get a set that has the two sizes. So the trick to these, you just use some hairspray, spray a bunch of hairspray down into this, and then that'll be wet until it dries, and then it'll be nice and sticky and it'll hold it on. So with that, they slide on really easy when you do that. You know, you see people with screwed up handles if the bike goes down, or I don't know what happened to this one. It's hardly even scratched on the end, but somehow it got all bent. And a new one was all of $8. So, and it's one screw to swap them out. So why people don't take care of that is hard to believe, but it'll certainly make it a lot more comfortable to ride. So we'll screw that one back in and we'll have that done. All right, so now new grips, new handle, looks so much better, actually functional. Chrome looks good with the chrome bike, matching handles on both sides. So at least now the rider's interaction with the bike will be a lot better. And cleaned up the chain some, cleaned and lubed the chain, get that kind of getting ready. It was a little just dirty and a little rusty, but that cleaned up pretty good. And the bike idles now. Been running a lot of cleaner through the gas, some seafoam in the gas, and running it every 12 hours for a while to keep it fresh in there. And it seems to be cleaning it up, but I may have to pull those carbs and clean out the jets. I think the idle jets may be a little clogged. Not all of them, but some of them may be clogged just the way that it's idling. So making some progress. It's getting late, so still need to get a new tire on there. I've got a new battery. This is the battery out of my other bike. It's charging right now. The new battery that'll actually fit right. That one's not quite the right size. So making some progress on getting this thing up and running and on the road again. All right, so today's big project day on the motorcycle. I got my new tire, so I'll be getting that mounted today, hopefully. And I'm definitely going to pull the carburetors out and clean those jets up. Clean them out inside. It's definitely a little clogged up. I just pulled the battery out, so I'm going to go through this process. I've got the manual up there, so I'll be able to follow through on the manual, and I got a nice table set up so I can pull all the parts off, set them aside, stay nice and organized, and get this thing cleaned up. It shouldn't be that big of a project, shouldn't be that bad, but I've never done this before, so we shall see. So I'm going to set up the camera so you can follow along, and hopefully it won't take too long. All right, so update time. So got the air box off, got the covers off the tank, obviously just lifted up out of the way. Got the carbs out, which, you know, not terribly complicated. They're just held in with the little rubber boots here. You just loosen those up, and then I used a crowbar to kind of pull them out of there. It's a little challenging getting all the cables, throttle cables all disconnected, so I realized I could just leave them on, pull them over here to the side, pull them apart. Now, since this is a V4, these are kind of staggered rather than a nice set of 4, which would be a lot easier to work with because these overlap each other. Makes getting the screws out really hard. These are the first 2 that I was able to get. I still haven't gotten the outside ones, so I got to get those. But these are your jets. So there's your main jet right there, and then this would be your idle jet right there. And I've got that one out right now. This one just cleaned. So how you get them all pulled apart. So show you over here. This is one of the float bowls. This one's pretty dirty, so I'll get that one cleaned up. Obviously some residue from it sitting, and the jet right there. And yeah, both of them so far have been a little clogged. Not completely clogged, but definitely junk in there and clogged up. So basically just held it and used the cleaner and just sprayed in the end. And then I got a little wire that I pulled apart to kind of scrub down in there and try and get it cleaned out. So making progress, and I expect this will make a big difference. All right, so it's idling beautifully now. It took a little bit to get it going, get the system warmed up a little bit, but I don't have any leaks, don't have float bowl leaks, so that's good. The gaskets all looked good, and so since they had been done by the previous owner a few years ago, they held up pretty good. So got a nice, beautiful idle now, and sounds great. Sounds great when you rev it up. So now I just got to clean it. The battery I got off eBay is not the right size, so I just got a new battery. I'm charging that up. Got to put it all back together again. I got my tire mounted. Only place I could mount my tire was the Honda dealer. None of the other places that do cars would do it, which was kind of a bummer because they charged way too much money for mounting the balance. And so now I'm down to a really good thorough cleaning of this thing, and then I'll be done. It'll be up and running. But when I say thorough cleaning, I mean I need a lot of polishing to do, got a lot of cleanup to do on this thing to get it looking really good again. So it'll take me a little while, it'll take a little bit of a project, but it's going to be great. I'm so happy it's idling. Such a good project. Cleaning out those jets was way easier than I thought, so it's good. Alright, so the good news is, got my inspection sticker. Nice selling feature for an older bike. And so I'm cleaning up polishing up some of the chrome. And I've got this one ready to go. It's all just weathered. Just when you can probably see some of it, it's just real weathered. You can see it on all the aluminum and stuff. But once I polish it out with the polishing compound on the drill, it looks beautiful. So we're working on making it pretty, and then I can take some pictures. All right, so just pulled it out here to go take some pictures. The chrome turned out beautiful. This was really nasty looking. You can still see teeny little marks, but for the most part, it cleaned up beautifully. So he's got is all original. No dents, no big scratches per se. I mean, mufflers are original and they look gorgeous. 2 helmet hooks. The chrome looks great. Bike runs like a charm. So she is ready to go. She's got her current inspection sticker. I'll start her up. Starts up instantly. Idle's great. That carb worked out perfect. You just bring everything back to spec and it works great, doesn't it? Temp gauge works. Everything works. All the blinkers, the works. Paint finish is terrific. she is ready to go up for sale. This is not exactly the perfect bike for me. It's a little small for me, but certainly a really comfortable cruiser. Great gas mileage. Wonderful. You could sit on this for quite a while with that cruiser kind of upright seating position. Here we go. All right, so I just closed the deal on Honda Magna and have sold it. He gave me a little deposit and he'll be back in a couple days with the rest of the money, and we'll have this deal all closed up and have him on his way. Young man getting his very first bike. This is a great first bike for somebody, so excited about who's getting it and excited about the deal. So all in, between the bike, the repairs, putting a new tire on, that was probably the most expensive thing, other than paying the state for the privilege of buying a bike. I was into it for about $900 and sold it for $1,200. So I made $300, 33% of my money. So I feel that's not too bad, and I didn't have to hold it all the way to spring. So I think that was a pretty good deal. Covered insurance, the inspection, the whole works. So this guy's got a great bike too. I got to tell you, it's in great shape. So my very first time flipping a motorcycle, and I think it worked out pretty good.